Stop for one moment, because what you're about to discover might genuinely shatter the way you look at success, happiness, and your place in the universe. Not in a fleeting, motivational quote kind of way, but in a way that settles deep in your bones, a way that makes you stop and wonder, wait, why am I fighting so hard against myself? We are a culture obsessed with control. We have 5-year plans, color-coded schedules, and productivity apps that track every second of our day. If you aren't optimizing, strategizing, and forcing your will upon the world, you're told you lack ambition. You feel anxious when things don't go according to plan. You feel frustrated when your efforts don't yield immediate results. Feel like a failure if you can't bend life to your desires. But what if the entire premise is flawed? What if the constant struggle, the relentless effort, and the feeling of pushing a boulder uphill isn't a sign of your dedication, but a sign that you're going against the grain of life itself? There is an ancient philosophy over 2 millennia old that explains precisely why our obsession with control leads to frustration and burnout, and how a subtle shift in perspective can unlock a sense of ease and flow you never thought possible. A philosophy that guided artists in their creations, sages in their wisdom, and ordinary people in living extraordinary lives. And once you truly understand it, you won't be able to forget it. It will echo in your mind during moments of stress, quietly transforming how you navigate every challenge. To grasp this idea, we need to travel back in time, not to a battlefield, not to an emperor's court, but to a quiet, dusty archive in ancient China. The story begins with a man whose name you've likely heard, but whose life is shrouded in legend. He wasn't a general. He wasn't a king. He was, by some accounts, a keeper of records, a humble, quiet observer of the rhythms of the world. Legend has it that Lao Tzu, disillusioned with the moral decay of the kingdom, decided to leave civilization behind. As he reached the western border, a gatekeeper named Yingxi recognized the wisdom in his eyes and begged him to write down his teachings before disappearing into the mountains. Lao Tzu agreed. The result was a short text of just 5,000 characters, the Tao Te Ching. This small book became the foundational text of a philosophy that would ripple through centuries, Taoism. So, what is this profound secret that Lao Tzu left behind? It's a concept that is both incredibly simple and infinitely complex. It's called the Tao. The Tao translates to the way or the path, but it's not a path you walk on. It's the path the universe itself walks. It's the natural, unfolding, effortless order of everything. Think of the way a river flows around a rock. It doesn't fight the rock. It doesn't try to smash through it with brute force. It simply yields, adapts, and continues on its course, eventually wearing the rock down over time. Think of the way a tree grows. It doesn't strain to reach the sky. It simply grows, day by day, following its own innate pattern. That effortless, spontaneous, and powerful flow, that is the Tao. Taoism's central idea is that our suffering doesn't come from the world's problems, but from our resistance to this natural flow. We try to force the river into a straight line. We try to command the tree to grow faster. We believe our conscious, striving, effortful mind, our egos, better than the vast, ancient intelligence of the universe. Taoism gently suggests it doesn't. The greatest wisdom lies not in forcing your will upon the world, but in aligning yourself with its natural current. This is where the radical, life-ruining idea of trying harder comes into question. Taoism introduces a principle called Wu Wei. This is often translated as non-action or effortless action, but that can be misleading. It doesn't mean being lazy or passive. It means acting in a way that is so aligned with the Tao, so in tune with the natural flow of the situation, that your actions feel effortless. It's the difference between frantically rowing against a powerful current and simply steering your boat as the current carries you forward. One is exhausting and futile. The other is graceful and effective. We've been taught that success comes from rowing harder. The Taoist secret is that true success comes from understanding the current. Think about a time you were in the zone. Maybe you were an athlete, a musician, a writer, or even just having a deep conversation. Time seemed to disappear. Your actions felt fluid and intuitive. You weren't overthinking. You were just doing. That is Wu Wei. You weren't trying harder. You were trying less and accomplishing more because you were in harmony with the moment. So how does this apply to our modern lives, filled with deadlines, ambitions, and anxieties? It starts with a shift in how we view life and enlightenment. In many Western traditions, enlightenment is a goal to be achieved. It's a summit to conquer, a state of perfection to attain through rigorous discipline and effort. You must meditate for hours, purify your thoughts, and strive to become something more than what you are. Taoism flips this entirely. Enlightenment isn't about becoming something new. It's about unbecoming. It's about letting go of all the artificial layers you've built up your ego, your rigid beliefs, your need for control, and returning to your natural, authentic self. The Tao Te Ching says, "To attain knowledge, add things every day. To attain wisdom, subtract things every day." The goal isn't to build a more impressive version of yourself. The goal is to strip away the noise until you can hear the quiet whisper of the Tao within you. It's about realizing that you are already a part of this perfect, natural flow. You don't need to achieve it. You just need to stop resisting it. You're not a drop in the ocean. You're the entire ocean in a drop. This brings us to the Taoist view of values. Our society values strength, assertiveness, and rigidity. We see these as qualities of leaders. But Lao Tzu pointed to a different kind of power. He famously said, "The soft and yielding overcome the hard and strong." Water, the most yielding substance on earth, can wear away the hardest stone. A young sapling, which is flexible, can bend in the wind, while a mighty rigid oak can be snapped in two by a storm. Taoism champions the feminine values: flexibility, receptivity, nurturing, and intuition. This isn't about gender, but about energy. The hard, aggressive, masculine energy of forcing and controlling is ultimately brittle. Soft, adaptive, feminine energy of yielding and flowing is where true, enduring power lies. When you're faced with a problem, is your first instinct to attack it head-on, to force a solution? A Taoist approach would be to first observe, to be still, to understand the dynamics at play. Instead of trying to break down the door, you look for the key. Or you notice that the window is open. Work with the situation, not against it. This is the power of yielding. The impact of these teachings on modern life is more profound than we realize. The concept of mindfulness, now a billion-dollar industry, has deep roots in Taoist and Buddhist principles of being present and observing without judgment. The idea of going with the flow is a direct, if simplified, echo of Wu Wei. Even in business strategy, concepts like agile methodology are based on adapting and responding to change, rather than rigidly sticking to a pre-made plan, a very Taoist idea. So, how can you start to integrate this into your own life, to stop ruining it by trying too hard? First, practice the art of observation. Spend time in nature and just watch. Don't name things, don't analyze them. Just watch the clouds drift, the leaves rustle, the water flow. See the effortless harmony of it all. You are a part of that same system. Second, embrace productive stillness. When you feel overwhelmed and have the urge to do something, try doing nothing. Sit quietly for 5 minutes. Let the muddy water of your thoughts settle. Often, the best course of action reveals itself not in frantic activity, but in quiet clarity. Third, look for the path of least resistance. This doesn't mean being lazy, it means being smart. When you face an obstacle, instead of asking, "How can I power through this?" ask, "What is the easiest, most natural way around this?" Let go of the belief that the hardest path is the most virtuous one. And finally, trust your intuition. Your rational mind is a powerful tool, but it's not the only one you have. The Tao speaks through your gut feelings, your creative urges, your moments of spontaneous insight. Learn to listen to that quieter, deeper intelligence. Get your internal compass, pointing you back to the way. The modern world has sold us a lie that our worth is measured by our productivity, our success by the scale of our struggle. Taoism offers a liberating alternative. It tells us that our greatest power lies not in our ability to control the world, but in our willingness to dance with it. It's a call to let go of the oars and to finally trust the river. The founder, Lao Tzu, may have been a simple archivist, but the philosophy he recorded is a blueprint for a more sane, harmonious, and joyful existence. It's a secret that has been waiting for 2,500 years, not in a locked vault, but in the open air, in the flowing of water, in the beating of your own heart. The secret is that you don't need to try harder. And in that surrender, you won't find failure. You'll find freedom.